Imagine yourself in a condition where you just want to build a lot of houses, but the problem is that you would have to make a pre-planned structure for each individual house. So it's gonna be time consuming, and by the way, it really requires a lot of effort. So you would ask me, what is an alternative way for it? So I would say that you just have to make a pre-planned general structure. And when you want to build the first house, you would have to just apply that pre-planned structure to the first house. And when you want to build the second house, you would have to just apply that pre-planned structure and make a little bit changes in that structure. And then for the third one, the fourth one, and so on. So actually, the pre-planned structure is called the clause, and the houses, the real houses that you are building, are called the objects of this clause. So simple. So actually, in the coding sense, a class is just like a blueprint, or you can also say the prototype from which you can create new objects, just like in the case of creating buildings or houses from a pre-planned structure. So let me just give you a very simple example of a class and write a structure. Okay. So for example, if I say that class student. Okay, so this is a very simple structure of a class. So let me just explain it word by word. Here, the class is actually a keyword that is telling the compiler that after this keyword, everything that is a class. You should consider it as a class. Then we have the student. The student is actually the name of the class. You can give it every name you want. Then we have the variable called name, which is storing anything. So here, there is a name called Junaid, and there is a variable for age equals 18. Okay, then we have a simple function. Now, in a class, there are two things that you should remember in your mind. One is the attribute, and the second one is the methods. So it's a kind of weird and new thing for you to hear that method and attribute. Actually, the attribute is a characteristic of anything in general sense. But in the case of a class, attribute is actually the characteristic of a class. For example, here the class is the student, and the variable is giving characteristics to that student. For example, the name of the student and the age of the student. It's actually the characteristic of that student. So these are called the attributes of the student. Then we have the methods. The methods is actually, if you just look at the method, so a method actually linking towards the word function, and function is actually a function in a class. So a function in a class is called the methods. What actually the self is, I'm going to explain it in a while. Then we have the print that is saying that f string, and it is saying that my name is self dot name. The self, I'm going to explain it. Okay, and it is just taking this name over here and this. Then we have to come towards the object. Then we will have to study the objects. So objects are actually a copy of that class. It's not an idea anymore in a case of a general plan and you are building in a house. So the house was the actual thing, and the plan was just an idea of you. So the class is a general idea, whether where the object is actually the a real copy of that class. So how would you create an object? Let me just give you an example. For example, if I just want to say like a student one equals, and you can just call the name of the class, that is student. Okay, simple. And then just say like student one dot. Now if you just click on the dot, now it is just giving you age information and name. These two are the variable of that class, that is name and age, and the information over here is the function of that class. So you can initiate anything you want, and you can retrieve anything from the class you want. For example, if I just want to retrieve the name, okay, so and then I print it, it is giving me the Junaid. Okay, this is a simple function. So what about the self? The self is actually the object. For example, if I just want to make it for a student 2 equals student, okay, and then I just want to say like, now just look at this here. If you print student2 dot name, it will also print in it. So what's the difference? Okay, let me just give you the difference. If I write over here is state.name is equal to Sanan, okay, and then I print student2 dot name, now it is giving me Sanan. Why? Because I have just updated the value of the name over here with Sanan. This object is copying all of the content from the class, and this object student1 is also copying all of the things from the class. So it is just making two copies. So for the first copy, I haven't updated the value of the name variable, which is Junaid already, and I have just updated the value of the name with Sanan over here. So the variable name is containing different string, which is Sanan for the second student, but it is containing Junaid, which is the same as the above, copying something like that, and it is not in a updating. Okay, if I just want to call the function for the student one, if I call the function like student one dot information, now what is doing over here, it is calling my name is self dot name. So why I have used a self dot name? Because it is just taking the student one as a self argument, and that student argument, if I just want to say like student dot name over here, so it will also print that name over here. But in order to make it general for each and every student, so I just use the self over here. So now the student one dot name over here will come, and the name will be printed. So and then my name is self dot age, so according to self the student one will come. Okay, if I print it for the student 2 dot information, now you can see that it is just printing my name is Sanan. Why didn't it print the Junaid? Because I have written the Junaid over here? No, because the copy that is made for the student number 2 is updated with the name Sanan, so that is why it is printing the Sanan. Okay, it is so simple. Now another concept over here is the constructor. As you know about the constructor, or you can also say the init function. Simple. Okay, I just want to say like def. Okay, this is a simple function of a self. Now what is it just doing? Whatever you write in this function, it will be copied and it will be called for each and every object that you just create. For example, if I just write over here is, okay, I've just written out, and if I just run this, now if I run it for this, if I just comment it out, okay, I've just commented out, and if I just want to create the object for student number 1, with that I haven't called this function, but it will be called by itself. For example, if I run this, so now it is just saying that hello to class. If I just want to comment out all of these things, and then I just want to call it, it is also saying hello to class, because this function will be same to all of the classes. So whenever you want to create an object, that function will be called by itself automatically. So this was a little introduction about the classes and objects. I hope you enjoyed the video very well, and in the next videos I'm going to explain the details of these class and objects and the object oriented programming. So I hope you enjoyed the video very well. Please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel in order to be notified for next videos. Thank you and have a nice day.